Hello students, today we'll discuss about the indifference curve. Okay, what is the meaning of indifference curve? So indifference curve is a diagrammatic presentation of an indifference set of a consumer. It shows different combination of two goods. Different combination of two goods offering same level of satisfaction to the consumer. So these are the key words. Okay, what is indifference curve? Combination of two goods that can give equal satisfaction to whom? Consumer. Combination of two goods that can give you equal satisfaction, level of satisfaction to the consumer. This is called the indifference curve. So for example, see this table. Suppose there are four combination. I have assumed A, B, C, D. So in here there are two commodities, two goods. One is apple and one is orange. So if you consume one apple, then you will consume 10 apple. But if you want to consume more apple, like one, then you have to give up the consumption of orange. Okay, so what you have seen, if you want to increase the consumption of one product, you have to give the consumption of another product. Okay, and from here we can calculate the MRS. What is MRS? Write down marginal rate of substitution. What is the formula? Delta loss divided by delta gain. It means change in loss. Delta means what? What is the meaning of this triangle? Change in. What is the change portion? Okay, so for example, see, for the first unit you cannot determine, so that's why I have written dash, because we don't know what was the before. After that you see number of oranges, before it was 10 and now 7. Okay, what is the loss? You have sacrificed the 3. What is the gain? Before it was 1, now 2. That means 1. Change in gain is 1, change in loss is 3. So 3 by 1 is equal 3. Is it clear? For the next you see change in loss. Before it was 7, now 5. What is the change amount? Loss change is 2. And gain is 1. 2 by 1 is equal 2. Then here change in loss is what? 1. And change in gain also 1. 1 by 1 is equal 1. So this is the marginal rate of substitution. Change in loss divided by change in gain. And after that I have drawn this diagram. Okay, so this one is the indifference curve. This is the shape of the indifference curve. So directly I have drawn this curve, but when you write these numbers, apple and oranges, then you will get some points combination. When you will join this combination, then you will get a curve like this. So you practice these things. Okay, you write suppose I have written here good x. Good x means what? Suppose in here good x means apple. Good y means what? Suppose in here you assume O, orange. Okay, after that write down the numbers, then you combine it, join, then you will get a curve. This is called the indifference curve. So what is indifference curve? Combination of two goods that can give an equal level of satisfaction to the consumer. Very simple. So you have seen that when you want to increase the consumption of apple, then you have to give up the consumption of orange. And this one is the marginal rate of substitution, change in loss divided by change in gain. Okay, now see the properties or features of IC. It slopes downward. So what you have seen, this curve is slopes downward. No? Why it slopes downward? See the table. Because if you want to increase the consumption of apple, you have to give up the consumption of orange. So that's why it slopes downward. Is it clear? It means if you want to increase the consumption of apple, then you have to give up the consumption of orange. So that's why it slopes downward. Very simple. Convex to the origin. Convex to the origin. Why it's convex to the origin? Because of diminishing marginal rate of substitution. Why it's convex to the origin? Because of diminishing marginal rate of substitution. You have seen, no? Marginal rate of substitution is decreasing. So this is called the diminishing marginal rate of substitution. higher IC shows the higher level of satisfaction. So for example, see, this one is the indifference curve IC, and this one is the another IC. So this one is the above than this IC. This IC1 curve is where? The above than this indifference curve. So it means higher indifference curve represent higher level of satisfaction. Is it clear? Higher IC shows a higher level of satisfaction. It means IC1 is giving more satisfaction than IC. IC2 is giving more satisfaction than IC1 and IC2. It means higher indifference curve represent a higher level of satisfaction. Why? Because IC1 represents the more quantity, IC2 represents the more quantity than IC1. Clear? So when IC is going to the right side, it means they are representing more and more quantity, so you will get more satisfaction. IC do not intersect each other. It's very interesting. Sometimes it comes for 3 marks also. For example, you see, suppose this one is the IC curve, IC, okay, this one is the IC curve, IC, and this one is the another one, the IC1. Okay, so suppose this one is the point A, this one is point B, and this one is point C. So now you see there are two curves, one is the IC curve and another one is the IC1. Now you see the IC curve, there are 2 points, one point is A and another point is C. Is it clear? On IC you have seen 2 points, point A and point C. According to the definition, it represents equal satisfaction. If any point on IC represent equal satisfaction, then what is the meaning? A is equal B. If A will give you 100 level of satisfaction, C will also give you 100 level of satisfaction. Why? Because the same level of satisfaction. Already we came to know. Clear? Then you see the IC1, there are also 2 points A, B. So A and B both will give the same satisfaction. Why? Because both are on the IC1. Clear? So now you see, if A is equal C or A is equal B, so can you write here A is equal B is equal C? If A is equal C and A is equal B, then we can write A is equal B is equal C. But if you see the diagram, B is showing more satisfaction than C. So it means this is the wrong. Clear? So if you see two curves, IC and IC1, okay, A is equal C, A is equal B. If A is equal C and A is equal B, then you can write A is equal B is equal C. But if you see the diagram, B denotes the more satisfaction than C, because see, B is there and C is here only. So B is not equal to C. But according to this condition, A is equal B is equal C. But if you see the diagram, B is not equal to C, or this B is not equal to A also. Is it clear? So that's why two indifference curves never intersect each other. IC, it means indifference curve does not touch X or Y. See here, indifference curve even cannot touch. So for example, this one is the IC or this one is the IC1. So what is the definition of indifference curve? It shows the combination of two goods. Combination of two goods means what? Suppose the twice X plus 3Y. This one is the combination. But in here, when IC touch the Y axis, what is the meaning? It means in here, what is the quantity of Y? 0. So with the 0 quantity, it cannot be a combination, because in here Y commodity is 0. Clear? And same thing in here, when IC touch the X, what is the quantity of X? What is the amount of X? 0. So 0 is not a combination. So that's why IC cannot touch Y or X, because when it touches the X or Y, it represents the 0 quantity. And according to the definition, combination of two goods. Okay, see here, combination of two goods. So when one is 0 and another product is there, then this is not a combination. Okay, So this is the indifference curve and properties of indifference curve. So quickly you see, indifference curve shows the combination of two goods that can give the equal level of satisfaction to the consumer. So when you want to consume more than you have to give up the consumption of other product, then your marginal rate of substitution will decrease. And when these number of apples and number of oranges you will put in a graph and you will join this point, then you will get a curve. This is called the indifference curve. Properties, it slopes downward because if you want to consume more of a commodity, you have to give up the consumption of other commodity. Convex to the origin, definitely because of diminishing marginal rate of substitution. Then higher IC shows the higher level of satisfaction. Then IC do not intersect each other, already we discussed, and IC does not touch x axis or y axis. So this is all about the indifference curve and properties of indifference curve. So I hope you understood this lesson, but if you have any confusion or doubt, let me know in the comment section below. I will talk to you there. Thank you.